All right, for this segment of Outdoors and More, you can see I have a fly rod in my hand. We're in eastern South Dakota. It's not a common weapon that you see people pull out in eastern South Dakota. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna show you how to catch these beasts on fly rod. And when you live in this part of the state, I mean, look at this thing. This is a beast. He's huge, it's like wrestling a gator. When you live in eastern South Dakota, you can catch all kinds of these on your fly rod, and that's what we're gonna talk about today on Outdoors and More. Look at the girth of, this is a beast. He's just, he's big around. The big old bugle mouth on him. A little blood in there from the fly. But this is what we're gonna talk about today, is catching these beasts. And believe it or not, they really bite flies. And you can catch lots of them. And we're gonna talk about technique, what you look for, and to let these big old beasts go. Might drop them. As we go. Wow, how cool is that? Got him. Now the battle will rage for a long time. Make sure all my line's clear, that's the first thing. It's a big one. It's pretty cool when you're fly fishing and you have to run them down with a trolling motor. I like that situation. Higher, more speed. My trolling motor is on 8 and he's still running line on me. He's almost to the backing. You see him about rip the rod out of my hand when I... Gaining a little. It looked like a good one, but I didn't get a great shot of him. That's a good one. Sad part is we're a long ways from getting him in, I think. That he's gonna go crazy on this. He is a tanker. He's like this big around. Turn your head, turn your head, turn your head, turn your head. Oh! You ready? Oh. Wow. All right, when we're chasing carp, what we do is we get in these eastern lakes of South Dakota and we just put the trolling motor down. We get right up in the shallows. You can see we're not very far from shore. And we literally cruise. We're just out looking for carp. And we're looking for them up in the shallows. Sometimes their nose is sticking up out of the water. Sometimes they're right below the surface. But the key is these carp really do have activity levels just like any other fish, like a walleye or a white bass or a northern pike. And when you look for them, you look for the ones that are actually moving. The ones that are sitting in one spot, not doing anything, is a very negative carp. When it comes to biting and mode, he's not gonna do anything for you. You can cast at him and cast at him and cast at him. He's not gonna do anything. So we're looking for the ones that are up gulping, or what they call gulping, right up on the surface, or bulging, where you actually see them swimming and they make a bulge out in front of them because they're so close to the surface. Another pattern is they call a snake pattern, where you can see the carp just cruising up and down the shoreline like a snake. Those are fish that are very active. That's what we're looking for. Kind of a patience game, because you do spend a lot of time driving around looking for them, but when you hit a pod, you can get a lot of them. So it's not traditional, the fact that you look for the line to jump, you look for the fish to do something crazy. They just come in and they just overtake it, and then you set the hook. But we're gonna keep looking. That was number one. We're looking for the next one. We found a really cool spot, and there's a lot of carp, but we can't get the boat in. This is the spot, but I got out to help to try to pull it in, and I ran out of shore, so So I might have to wade and see what I can find. Sometimes you have to improvise in your plans for the day. Got him. Through the trees, over the river, through the woods. Life is good. See, sometimes you just gotta improvise. We couldn't get in here, so I hopped out of the boat and started wading. Right now, it's a scenic view of the ocean, wading the flats for bones. Not really, they're golden bones, but he's not real happy yet about things. That was pretty cool because the spot that they came out of, it's like a 8-foot window between branches to drop a fly. And there was like 5 or 6 of them. They were tailing just like you see the bonefish do in the ocean. And he just happily ate the fly. This one isn't nearly as big. Not done yet. Come here, buddy. That's the other cool thing about fly fishing for these, is people talk about steelhead, how powerful they are, and some of the bigger trout, and some of the other things, but you tangle with carp on a fly rod and it's a battle. All right, I cheated. I walked over to the boat and grabbed the net to land him. Because I don't want to lose him. We'll see if we can get him close without going crazy on me. I'm telling you, the tail on this one is very cool. They just don't give up. They do not give up. All right, come here, bud. Come hither. Got him. Oh, you can see the fly stuck right in that corner of his mouth. Look at the color. That's really unusual for a carp, his bright red that he has. But now you can see the term, they call them golden bonefish. Now you can see how that works out with their bright gold side they have. So we're gonna put this one back, then we're gonna talk about what flies we're using and why and when to use what fly. See you, buddy. Thank you. All right, just got back in the boat, let that second one go, but let's talk flies for a little bit and what we use. This one right here that we're using today is called the Charlie's Carp Candy. It's just a dubbing body, marabou tail, very simple pattern, works very well. But I always carry a couple boxes, fly boxes in the boat, just in case, and 2 fly rods. I always have my walleye, white bass, northern pike stuff, and then my carp selection. As you can look at the carp selection, the majority of the stuff is nymphs. The carp candy is strictly a nymph. You can see a lot of olives, a lot of browns. But what you're doing is mayfly nymph is very good for carp. So anything that imitates a mayfly, the wiggles, the nymph patterns, the carp candy. And also you can see here we got the legged bitch creek in here for when they're really going on bugs. And also the classic, the crayfish, for when you see them tailing. They eat a lot of crayfish. The interesting thing about carp is they very readily eat. They're very aggressive, and people have this idea that all they do is sip cotton off the surface. People say, oh, they're eating cotton. No, they're actually midging and eating little bugs that are hatching. So that's why most of the patterns you see here, literally almost all of them, but these 3 are subsurface. We're gonna fish for them under the water. And the other box I brought up is the walleye, smallmouth, largemouth. But you're gonna see throughout the year on Outdoors and More, we're gonna be fly fishing a lot for a lot of different things. And it makes fishing a lot of fun to catch them on a fly. We're getting our day cut short. We got some weather coming in, so we had to get off before the storms hit, but we still got to catch a couple carp today. We showed you the flies that we use. We talked about cruising up on the flats and the shallows and looking for them. So right now I got to get things torn down, put away before the storm hits, and get home.